Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's a gorgeous day here in New York. Why don't you tell us where you're calling in from and put in your name so I know who's here? A lot of times I can't see. So put in the chat your name, and I cannot wait to get started. So this is kind of a surprise for many people. I was gonna do a replay of our live call that happened on Tuesday, and if you read my emails, you could see that I put in there that it's going to be a replay. But I just got a good feeling this morning when I woke up, and I said, you know what, F it, I'm just going to do this live. And so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it because I was planning to just do a replay, but I thought it would be so much more valuable if I were to do this live. So, as you know, I've been doing a lot of content lately about gift guides. And the reason why is because Q4, which I mean, now we're there, it's October, woo, is the number one time for revenue, for profit. Consumers are ready to spend. And it means that also editors are writing more than ever, right? They're receiving tons of pitches more than ever, and a lot of them not so good. So if your pitch can just even be a little bit better than the rest, guess what? You are going to stand out. It's going to boost your confidence. And throughout the course of this training, you're going to see 3 actual pitches that were deleted by the Forbes editor. And you're going to realize, you know what? Maybe your pitch is not that bad. Maybe you're more ready than you thought. And that's going to give you the confidence to actually just press the send button. Remember what Vincent said. He was a 40 under 40. He sold his business to WeWork executives after working with me. And he said it's all about pressing the send button and all the different mindset things you have before pressing the send button that trips you up. You just got to get yourself to a place where you're able to press that send button. So I'm going to show you in the course of this live training how you can not only feel more confident, but the actionable strategies for you to be able to press that send button. Because guess what? The more times you pitch, the more times you put yourself out there, you're going to have more opportunities, right? You know this just from in general, whether it's sales or whatever it is. The more you put your message out in front of the right people, the more you're going to have those opportunities. And even if it's not the right person, they're going to be able to give you feedback, right? As you know, Tanisha was working with me and she sent out all these DMs, and one of the editors from what was it, Shape or BET was like, you know, this is not a good fit for me, but because I love your pitch so much, I'm going to forward it to our colleague at Shape magazine. And that is how she got onto Shape magazine, because she was able to get feedback and she kept persisting. So in the spirit of persistence, I'm going to share my screen. Happy Friday and put in the comments who you are so I can see you. A lot of times we have a lot of people who are familiar faces, but for some reason the streaming service blocks it and I can't see who you are. So please share with me who you are. I'm so excited to see all of you. It always makes me so excited to see the same people showing up and some new people as well. So I will now get to the training. Okay, so here we are. Gift guide Q&As. Why is Q4 the hands down most important time, right? Is because it's number one for exposure, right? It's the number one season for revenue. And it's the biggest month for consumer spending, right? 10% increase from last year. We know this as a fact. This was published. It means that you can get more subscribers, more audience, more followers. It's your best chance to build relationships with editors, because unlike other times where you don't want to be too pushy about your product, this is the time of year where you can actually say, I'm pitching my product for your product guide. I am pitching my service to be included in this list. This is a one time of year you can be so unapologetically yourself about pushing that, right? So that is why you need to spend this time to not just keep practicing your pitch, but actually send the pitch. And I'm going to show you why it's really not that difficult, because there's a lot of awful pitches out there. So you're going to feel much better about your pitch. So the other thing you should know is that editors right now are receiving more pitches than ever. It just means that they're receiving some really awful pitches. So you don't have to feel bad about sending a pitch that's not perfect, because it means that you are going to be in a sea of really bad pitches. And if you can just be one step above them, you're going to be a lot better, right? So again, perfect time to practice pitching. Editors are way more forgiving. They just understand that right now is the time to pitch, right? So you got to do your work and just press send. Type in yes in the chat if you're feeling this, if you believe that now is the time more than ever, and you're just sick and tired of waiting around for permission, right? Type in yes in the chat and let me know. Awesome. Okay. So here are some examples of gift guides. So when I say gift guide, it doesn't only mean like Christmas gift guides. There are opportunities all year round. And actually, a lot of editors who might not cover gift guides are assigned to writing gift guides because right now we're heading into a season where there's just more gift guides than ever. So things like eco-friendly gifts or a headline like gifts that give back, last minute gifts, gifts under 20, 50, 100, gifts that pamper. Think about how your product might fall into any of these categories. Now you might have 5, 10, 20 products, but what is the one product that is unique, that's interesting, that's perhaps a fan favorite, right? Start to think about these examples of what buckets you fall into, because guess what? The person who writes about consumer electronic gifts is not going to be the person who writes about eco-friendly gifts, right? So knowing exactly what your angle is going to help you get that much closer to pressing that send button. Now, before we get started, you know that subject lines are so important, right? I say this in the starter pack all the time. You're only as good as your subject line, right? Because if it doesn't get opened, it's not going to get read. So what you need to do in your subject line is be specific and to the point. So are you pitching for a gift guide or a product lot guide or a best whatever list, right? Put it in the subject line. So that way the editor knows right away what it's for. And guess what? When they actually do a search in their inbox again, it'll pop up again, right? You want to make it preview friendly. So you don't want your subject line to be 3 sentences and to get it cut off in an awkward way. So you want to make it precise and specific to what it is. Right. So, and I have all these, I say this all the time in my masterclass, and I have a subject line training in my PR starter pack. Your subject lines are so important. Okay. This is another reason why you also need to pitch now, just in terms of timeline, right? So I spoke with different editors, and again, there's no crystal ball, there's no standard, because every editor and publication is different. For example, print is going to need longer time, right? So if you want something that's only on print, you probably want to pitch in September or August, start pitching then. But for a place like Forbes or like a BuzzFeed or an Apartment Therapy or whatever that's digital, you could do it even 4 weeks before publication. So all of this to say that if you are looking to be represented digitally and be on a digital platform, October is the best time to pitch. And no, it is not too late. And I just spoke to the Forbes editor. I interviewed her on my podcast, and she actually said that September might be a little too early, but October is a great time to pitch. And if you did pitch in September, no worries, you can still follow up. I know some people watching here who got the starter pack have already started emailing all the editors on the list. It's okay. It just means that you can follow up, right? You always want to be ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. So type in yes if you are ready to pitch this October. It's October 1st, and it is not too late. I am so happy that this year, unlike last year where I was kind of falling behind a little bit, I am doing this training on the 1st of October. And the fact that October 1st falls on a Friday, it's a universal sign that this is meant to happen, that we are meant to go on this journey together, that you are meant to use this time to pitch. If it is your first time pressing the send button, now is a time. So if you need any affirmations from the universe, this is it, my friends. All right. So here are some do's and don'ts from the editors that I interviewed directly who make gift guides. So do's, she says that you really want to conduct your research on their previous coverage, right? So you don't want to be sending your leather bags to someone who is a vegan, right? You don't want to be sending your wellness gift guide product pitch to someone who covers stuff maybe only for men if your product is more geared towards women. So having that ability to know what they covered before is so key. And that is why I have that in the PR starter pack, because it's so important to get like 20 different columns of who they are, their bio, what they cover. And that's going to allow you to not make these mistakes and build a relationship, right? Another thing I want you to do, and I say this all the time, even on my one-on-one pitch writing sessions, I write multiple subject lines for people because I want you to test maybe 2 of them and see which one gets better. It's so amazing that we get to test things as business owners, right? I'm sure you've tested things in your product line, in your website, and being able to test different things, maybe sending 5 emails with one subject line and 5 with another, that's going to make you understand like, this is interesting, or this resonates more. And that is a skill that you get to keep forever, as opposed to if you were to hire an agency, you kind of lose out on all that knowledge, right? So I test my own subject lines, and I encourage you to do the same. And I tell this to all of my PR Starter Pack members. It is an integral part of our training. Another thing, obviously, which is kind of like a no-brainer, is you want to personalize your outreach. So you want to put the editor's names and all of the pitching templates in the starter pack. I always have that, right? It doesn't mean that you have to spend hours to personalize every single email, because as long as you have the media list that I provide and you can tell that they have a history of writing gift guides or wellness or beauty, chances are you can send it out to all those people, right? As long as you've done research and you know that they've covered your industry. Now, a person who writes about wellness might also have written about fashion, arts, and entertainment. So it's important to see in the media list their bio and what they cover. And that is why I have that in the starter pack as well. In the bio section, it says what they cover. And they will say, I write about X, Y, and Z, right? You can also do this research yourself. It's going to take a lot longer, but you can, have a Google News alerts. You can find them on the internet, but this is just allowing you to save so much time so you can start sending. Another thing is when you pitch, you want to be specific about your product. Now, a lot of times we as founders, we don't want to be specific, right? Because we want to serve everyone and we want everyone to buy our product. But guess what? If you pitch for everyone, you're not going to be featured because it means that you speak to no one. So the more specific you can get, is your gift for under $25? Is your gift a luxury gift? Is your gift a limited time gift? Is your gift a woman-owned business, like whatever it is, mom, dad, eco-friendly, prenatal, postnatal, whatever? I want you to be specific with that, right? Because if you just say gift guide, wellness product, they may or may not open it, right? But if you say gift guide, wellness product under 25 that has a sustainability, component, that's going to tell the editor like, oh, okay, so I am doing a product roundup this month of sustainable gifts. You can be included in that. So the more specific you are, the more chances are you can get into multiple different articles, right? So type in yes if you're resonating with me, if y'all are following with me this Friday. All right. So here are some don'ts. And then we're going to get into the actual examples of bad pitches. Pitches the editor from Forbes actually forwarded me. And she's like, Gloria, I get these pitches all day, every day. Just please cross out their name. I don't want to put anyone on blast, but here are the actual emails and I'm going to forward them to you. And when I actually got a hold of these emails, I just felt so great because I realized like, if you see these emails, you're going to realize you're already so much better off than most people. And you're really not far along. You're really not so far from where you want to be, right? So we're going to get into that. But first, the don'ts, right? I don't want you to wait and overthink it because it's already October 1st and time is of the essence. And the universe rewards action, not just thinking and thinking and thinking. I had someone today in the DMs being like, oh, I'm not quite there yet. I'm still in the brainstorming phase. And she actually was interested in PR like 6 months ago. And she still hasn't sent a pitch. She still hasn't built any relationships. She still hasn't found any editors. So imagine in the 6 months where she could have done this work, she's still brainstorming. So if you think about and I had to do this work on myself as building my business, think of your ideas as a runway and an airplane on it, right? So you're thinking, but if you don't take off, you're going to crash, right? You need to take off and take flight because in the sky is where you can have all of your ideas be bounced off of other people. That's where opportunity exists. So it's nice to have an airplane that just keeps going on the runway, but at some point you got to take off. Right. And the journey is massive. There's no one journey. There's no one way to do it. But I want to encourage you to stop being on your runway and start actually taking off. So say yes if you are feeling this analogy. It's something that really stuck with me when I was kind of still brainstorming forever. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get off my butt and just do the damn thing, because if I don't put it out there, I'm not going to get the feedback that's going to help me reiterate again and again and again. Right. I've done my masterclass now, 30 times. Every time I'm doing something different. Every time I'm taking different questions and putting it in the slide so that I'm anticipating the questions before they even come up. That is how we get better, right? That is how we get better, is having that runway. But if you're on the runway and people are already up here, you're going to be behind. So yes, I love that. People are ready for launch, right? Ready for takeoff. All right. So here is an example of a bad pitch. I want you to tell me what you think about it. Again, this is a pitch that the editor got and forwarded to me. Type in the chat why you think this might be something that she actually deleted. So I'm going to take some time and I'm actually going to read through it. It says, "Hi, I hope this email finds you well. I love to submit my client." So this is from a PR agent. So it goes to show that you don't need someone pitching on your behalf, because she did not like that. "I love to submit my client X coffee for the guide you're compiling. It's a very aromatic cup of coffee and it has a very nice charitable component. I've attached photos as well as a press kit for additional information. Happy to send samples if that's of interest. Fingers crossed you can include. Thank you." So what do we think about this? Why do you think the editor sent it to me and was like, this is a no-no for her? Let me know. And then I will tell you what she told me about this. All right. Does anyone have anything to say about this? So, for starters, the editor didn't like that they attached all these presumptuous things, press kit, all this stuff. It's basically saying like, here's all our stuff. You're going to include it. Like, there you go. Right. And I always say, don't include all of these attachments before they even ask you. I feel like media kits and press kits are something you can just include a link to on your website. You don't need to attach the PDF. They're not going to read it. Right. So don't dictate and say, here's all of our stuff. Here's the unpublished biography that like, no, just tell them what's the benefit for their audience. And so the tone of this, even though it's really nice, it's not specific. It's not telling them why the coffee is important. Where is it grown? Who makes it? What region is it from? Where is it sold? Right? Is it organic? Whatever. There's nothing about it. It just says we have a charitable component. But what is that charitable component? Are you giving away money for books, for girls' education? What is it? It's just very general. So it doesn't peel away the layer of the onion. And remember, everything I talk about has to do with peeling the layers of an onion. So think about your PR and pitching as an onion, right? It stings a little bit to peel the layers because your eyes start to get watery. But the more you start to peel away at your messaging and get to the core of it, the sweeter the onion tastes, the more powerful it is, and the better your meal is going to be when you cook with it, right? So think about how you can peel away the onion. The outside layer might be the most general marketing, fluffy message, like this email. But if we were to peel one layer beneath it and do a little bit more work, we can have a little bit more specificity around the charitable component, around where it's made, why it's interesting. And that's going to allow the editor to realize, like, okay, this is not just like, I have a great coffee, I'm a nice guy, feature me, right? It's going to be like, here is the benefit. This is why it's interesting. This is why your audience is going to resonate with it. So that is where we want to go. And if you're a founder and you're thinking, well, my product is really not interesting or specific, then maybe you shouldn't be in business, right? I know that you started a business because you knew that you were solving a problem in a specific way that no one else was. So now is your time to tap into that. Why did I start my business? Why is what I'm doing different than other people? It doesn't mean that other people are not doing something similar, right? There's like a billion PR coaches out there doing similar things, but no one can do it like me. And you just have to have that energy as you go forward in your life and start to peel away the onion. You might cry a little bit, it might sting, but that work, my friend, that 5% of work is going to move your business in ways you cannot even imagine, right? All right. So let's get on to the next one. Here is another example. Promo code for something foods. Okay. Hi there. Your product is being shipped to you soon. We are excited to hear what you think. Here is a promo code for 20% on our website for you and your followers to use. Thanks again. How do we feel about this one? Now, I have to say, I love that it's short, but I think this one just completely misses the mark. I almost like the other one better because this one is pretty much like presuming that she wants the product to be shipped. And also, how can you know that she even wants to eat this yogurt? She might be vegan. Like, I don't know, right? So all of those assumptions about them consuming the product is because remember what I said, the editor is not going to buy your product. The editor is not going to be your customer. So you cannot just put your marketing and sales message to them. Otherwise, they're going to say, just buy a damn ad. So what you need to do as a founder is to think, how can I get someone who's not going to buy my product to write about my product so that it can actually be delivered to millions of people who might actually buy my product, right? It means that you cannot send something like this with a discount code, assuming that this person's going to buy. You cannot call the journalist a follower, like their followers. Journalists don't have followers, right? Journalists have readers, they have audience, but they don't have followers. So this is not the right word to use. If you are sending it to like an Instagram blogger, sure, you can use followers, but this really kind of rubbed them the wrong way because like an editor of Forbes don't have followers. And for them to like enter a coupon code and to buy is not going to persuade them to write about it. So you might get lucky and they might actually like buy something for their family, but isn't the whole point of this to pitch, right? So does anyone have any other things to say about this? Because I just feel like this was so funny that she actually gets pitches like this all day. And by the way, can we just stop for a second and acknowledge that like we're probably doing a lot better than this already, right? Like, doesn't this make you feel so much more confident that you're that much closer to a good pitch? Because these type of pitches are what's being sent right now in October. So if you can just be like 5%, 10%, 20% better than this using the methods that I'm helping you with and using your own skills, then you're already way above the rest, right? So type in yes if this makes you feel confident that you're already doing much better than these people, right? I think a lot of times we're like, oh my God, like these pitches by these PR companies. And by the way, the last pitch was sent by a PR company. So this coffee person was paying the PR agency and it's just going straight to the trash. So another reason why you need to do your own PR and not hire someone else unless you need to have at least the basic knowledge, right? All right, so let's get to the next one, which is another bad example. All right, so this one says holiday gift ideas for cheese lovers. Okay. Hi, hope you had a great weekend. Wanted to share with you the latest holiday gift basket from X Cheese. If you are seeking cheesy gift ideas this holiday season, these award winning baskets straight from the cheese itself are perfect for the cheese lovers in your life. Please see below for a variety of new gift baskets ranging from an ultimate cheese pack to a limited edition basket. So I do kind of like how they gave different price points and they had a link. Happy to share a sample of your favorite for your review tasting. If you think any of these gifts are a good fit for holiday coverage, looking forward to your thoughts. All right, so now I want some interactivity because this is the last one. So much to say about this. What do you think about this one? Why do you think that this got also thrown in the trash? Does anyone have any insight? If you were in the editor's shoes, why would you be like, no thanks? Does anyone have anything? So for me, the first sentence is very problematic. And also the subject line, because you don't know that this person is a cheese lover and you don't know that like their audience may be cheese lovers. Like it needs to be more specific. It might be, holiday gift ideas, food and pantry staples, or whatever it is, right? So the subject line is okay. I think it could be a little bit more specific, but my main problem is with the second line where it says, they're perfect for the cheese lovers in your life. Again, you're not selling to the editor. The editor doesn't care about the cheese lovers in their own life, right? If they do, then they can go buy whatever cheese they want. But this person is like pitching the cheese to the editor. So again, they're selling their product to the editor who is not going to buy their product. So the tone and the direction is completely off. So if it's one thing you have learned from watching all of my classes is you're not selling to the editor. You have to step away from your product and not give them coupon codes and assume they're going to buy your product. It's about why your product is unique, is interesting. What's something new about it? Maybe it's the origin story. There's someone who is in the starter pack and she and her child of 9 years old started a skincare solution for people with eczema. So a 9-year-old founder, that is an incredible story, right? So that's a pitch that like I'm looking forward to writing and that I think editors are looking forward to receiving. So what is something unique about it? Maybe it's the region. Maybe it's the way that the cheese is being paired with something. Maybe it's the fact that a certain type of wine is really trending right now and this cheese is a perfect complement to it. So do you see how I'm peeling away the layer of the onion? It doesn't have to be like this strenuous thing where you're like just doing all kinds of mental work, but just be a little bit more strategic and take a little bit more time to think about how you can make yourself and your pitch a little bit more specific. So you're not selling to the editor, right? Can I get a yes if you're enjoying this? I sense that the comments are pretty quiet. I think people are like taking notes. So I hope that it's a good sign. But let me know. So now we get to the pitching tips, right? Now, obviously, in the starter pack, I have the actual templates of what to do, but here are some general things that you should know, right? So again, your pitch is not the actual story. And if it's one thing that you've learned from watching me and kind of like my tips is you're not writing the whole story for them. You're giving them ideas on why it might be relevant. So your pitch is just a way to start a conversation. So how can you have the energy that's both specific and open-ended where the editor is like, this is interesting. Tell me more. Right. But your job is not to tell them the entire origin story of your life and your business and your partner and all this stuff. It's just a conversation starter. Right. So that is why it's important to research your product category. What are some of the discussions that are being had? Remember what I said about the cheese one is if there's a wine that's trending, maybe it's something tied to the pairing with the wine. If it's a wellness trend, right, whatever people are into now, that's specific, whether it's like CBD or hemp or this pairing, maybe it's something about that, right? What are the conversations happening in your product category? And I know you all know this because you are founders in your industry. You are the experts here. It's just about peeling away the onion and not leading with the actual product, right? You can also share user experience if possible. So, for example, back to the cheese one, you can say, people have loved this cheese because it pairs well with X, Y, and Z, right? There might be an ingredient this year or a holiday uh, like menu item that's really popular. I know like kale was really popular a few years ago. Maybe people are doing the vegan thing now. Whatever it is, right? There's always a way to say, hey, this is what I'm noticing. And it sheds a light about what consumers are wanting, right? You want to be more conversational, right? And less like, here's a promo code for your followers. So that's what I mean by be more conversational. And again, back to the specificity. Is it an all year round product? Is it limited edition? Is it on wait list? Is it a fan favorite? What is it? Right? Highlight the specifics, include the price and link to the high quality photos. No need to attach all of these attachments like the guy with the coffee, right? And lastly, tell them where they can find the product. So Leanna from Tuk she's also in the starter pack. She invented a brilliant medication. It's like a sticker where you can put on any prescription bottle, and then it reminds you to take your medicine, right? She recently got the confidence and was pitching and got into one of the top, I think it's either Target or Walmart. So top 1 or 2 retailers. So if you did that, then you want to say, you can find my product at Target as well, right? That's just going to give it a little bit more credibility. It doesn't mean that it has to be in a Fortune 500 retailer, but if it is, don't feel afraid to say that, right? These are all amazing things, right, to celebrate. Here's what you should do instead. So going back to my CPR method, remember it stands for credibility, point of view, and relevance. And if you have not watched my masterclass, I encourage you to watch it right now. You can go to gloriachowpr.com/masterclass, and you can see exactly how this CPR method works. This is the proprietary method that's helped thousands of founders get into their dream outlet. And it's waiting for you. You can watch it now. The reason why I say use the CPR method is that it's a value-driven way to have a conversation with anyone that doesn't make you sound salesy or pushy like the other examples, right? It's a framework for you to follow. So here's another way. If you have the immediate list in the starter pack, which I've already put in there, you can see exactly that what they've covered before, right? So it's as easy as you going to say, hey, since you covered eco gifts for moms last year, I want to send you this info. It is unique because X, Y, and Z, and I am seeing a trend in sustainability and sustainability conscious, like mom consumers wanting X, Y, and Z, right? That's kind of the way that I would write it. Or another way is you can give a compliment. And the beauty of the media list is that it tells you with very good specificity what they've covered, what they like. So you can give them a compliment and say, hey, I really loved your article from last year where you cover the best, consumer electronics. Are you doing it this year? If so, X, Y, and Z, right? This can also be used for a LinkedIn follow-up, and I give you all of the social media contacts as well in the media list. Another way to start an email is, hey, holiday season's coming up. This is what I'm seeing. Here's why X type of consumers are loving this trend. Reason 1, 2, and 3, right? I recently just wrote 2 pitches for skincare founders, and it was all about the fall winter season, right? About how like our skin conditions are going to get worse. The allergies in the air and the fact that our skin barrier, like there's so many things that you can write about that's seasonal, that's timely, and it all goes back to the CPR method. So now that I've given you a lot of information, maybe you're at a point where you're like, oh my God, I have different angles. So if you do, type it in the chat. We can see what kind of angles you're thinking of pitching. Now, remember, October is the time to pitch. So if you have an idea, just put it out there because chances are it's probably going to be better than the pitches that I just showed you. So in terms of confidence boost, you got it right there, right? So I want to give everyone a actual worksheet. And this is a worksheet that I have created for you to start to brainstorm your pitch, right? This is something that I spent time to work on. So I'm going to share it with you. And those who haven't gone, check your email, because if you have signed up for either the masterclass or Tuesday's call, here it is, right? So I want you to use this and just do it this weekend, right? Because right now we're October 1st. I don't want you to keep pushing this off. This is a 10-minute thing that could really help you not feel like procrastinating. And the next thing you know, the time has passed. So do it this weekend. Think about the various subject lines. I always like to think the subject line first. What is the article that your product would go in? Would it be like a non-toxic wellness gift? Would it be the best party favors under $15? Would it be eco gifts that give back? Whatever it is, start putting it in here, your different ideas. And then I want you to start peeling away the onion. Okay, now you have the subject line. Why is your product valuable? Why is it interesting? Again, remember what the coffee guy said in his pitch that the editor didn't like was, it has a nice charitable component. Well, that's not specific enough. What is it about the coffee? It can't just be that this coffee has a nice aroma and gives back to charity, because literally every coffee brand has an aroma, right? So think about what is unique, what is interesting, what is new about your product. This is a worksheet that you I can put it here, actually. See if I let's see, copy it, I'll put it in this, and then all of you can download it and start to practice. And then on Monday, if you join us in the starter pack, before that, you will be able to get on a live 90-minute call with me, and we're going to be able to go through this, because I really believe in the power of kicking off together and being in the space of accountability, of knowledge, of expertise. So, I mean, that's really the reason why this community is so important, right? Is being able to do this together and knowing that you're not alone. So, if you want to see actual pitches that got featured, and you want my feedback on your pitch, you want a 30, 60, 90-day goal setting worksheet and a 30-day action plan, right? What to do on day 1, day 2, day 3. I have it all done for you. And if you join the PR Starter Pack before Monday, you will get invited to a 90-minute call without paying my $9.95 hourly rate, right? This call usually runs a lot longer. People leave feeling completely transformed. They meet other people. They realize they're not alone in this journey, and they're bouncing ideas. I mean, the benefits of this is tremendous, to be able to be in a live setting. I don't do work like this otherwise. I don't have a group coaching program. This is my one-time offer for people who join the starter pack, and we're going to get started on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, as you know, Natalie Lennox worked with me a year ago, and she was in Martha Stewart Living. She was in Apartment Therapy. She was in Zoe Report. She was in Cool Mom Picks Vegan, and she's a finalist for the Target Retail Accelerator. And she actually told me that one of the questions that they asked her as she was applying for the accelerator was, have you been featured in the press? Right. So it's another reason why you should use this time, where the barrier to entry is so much lower, because so many people are doing bad pitches, is to get your name out there now. Right? Because if your pitch is just a little bit better, you're going to really, really stand out. So type in yes if you're ready to pitch, if you're ready to seize this moment that's not going to come again for a while, right? Now, the gift guide bundle that I have is $597 by itself, and it has a list of 600 editors, their first name, their last name, their title, media outlets, bio, Instagram, LinkedIn, like exhaustive information. You're going to be able to filter very quickly and see, okay, this person covers men's fashion, boom, right? And highlight it for yourself, boom. There's your media context. All you have to do is press send. This gift guide bundle alone is $597, but is included in the PR Starter Pack now. So if you get the PR Starter Pack, it's included in there, right? And again, the PR Starter Pack is what you've seen so many founders, including the ones that are actually on this call right now, they have used to unlock so many of the benefits. I interview them live on my Facebook Live. You see their wins, they're posting. It's not only just podcasts, gift guides, but the confidence that they gain from knowing how to master their narrative, from knowing how to do this themselves. Yes, you can delegate it, and I have a training in there, but knowing that your product is worth it, knowing that people want to hear about you, even though your website might not be perfect, even though you feel like you're with competitors who are much bigger than you, that will do amazing things for your mindset and what's possible for the future of your business, right? Dr. Greta Golf, she got into women's magazine. She is like a 20, 30-year veteran in the golf industry, but she just started pitching now. And she's like, wow, I really wish I got started earlier, right? Because she has the expertise. Sometimes you just need to give yourself that permission, because you are ready to be seen, heard, and valued. Am I right? Now I'm going to do a tour inside of the PR Starter Pack portal so you can see exactly what I mean by that. Okay, so the PR Starter Pack portal is brand new. I'm constantly updating it as well. And once you get in there, you can see that there is an action plan where you can download it and kick off the right way. And there's an entire PR database. And I actually have a how to delegate this outreach. This is the exact outreach that I do with Emmy, who's my outreach manager. And she actually is the one that's getting me onto 30 plus podcasts. This is the exact framework, and I actually have a walkthrough. So you can just implement it as is. And then there's a database that you can unlock with close to 45,000 editors now. And there's media lists in every single field you can think of, from art to beauty to Black voices to AAPI to education to gift guides to insurance to real estate. I'm constantly adding to this. This is kind of like having a PR agency in your pocket. And then you also have the training on winning pitches, as well as podcast media lists and all of the bonuses available to you But I think nothing is as important as knowing that on Monday, we're going to be able to kick off live in a 90-minute call with me where you get access to me. I'm going to have you unmute yourself and tell everyone about your business, what your goals are. That is the environment that like where success comes from, right? To be able to be in an environment where other people are doing the same thing and you have a plan of action, you have committed to saying yes to something that works, and it's just a matter of implementing it. So I hope you can join us in the starter pack before Monday. Look out for my emails. We're going to be sending the worksheet to you as well. Check your spam, because a lot of times my emails go into people's spams. It's just the nature of email marketing these days. And check your spam, and you're going to get lots of information from me, as well as this worksheet. So I am so excited to see some of you on Monday. I see some of you on this call already have signed up. So I'm excited to meet you. And I cannot wait to actually get deep and talk about your worksheet, your angles, how to pitch right now. What are the best angles? You might have 5, 10, 30 different ideas, but what is the one thing you should do right now? And then the next thing, and then the next thing. It's about having a plan of action. So I'm excited to meet some of you. And if any of you have any questions, I'm going to stay on for about 30 more seconds. But I want to just say something that came up in my business mastermind. So I am in a business mastermind with my coach, and one thing he says is, what separates entrepreneurs, the successful ones and the ones that get stuck, is the successful ones, they act from a place of possibility and not from a place of fear, limits, and scarcity. And as I am hiring more people for my team, as my business grows, I have a lot of scarcity mindset and fears around, what if I don't hire the right person? What if I have to pay someone double the person I have and then it doesn't work out? That's a huge investment, right? But if I keep staying small, if I keep acting from the place of limitation and feeling stuck, and all of you know this, that you might have areas of feeling stuck. For you, it might be PR. For me, it's building my team. Is if I keep staying where I am, as I grow, the problems are just going to amplify. So I need to keep reminding myself to act from the place of possibility, right? And not from my limitation. What would you do if success was inevitable? How do you act from that? Because time is passing by no matter what. If you stay stuck or you take action, time is passing. And I'd rather be at a point where I'm learning, I'm failing, I'm learning and failing and learning, rather than being in the same place I was 6 months ago. So that is all I have to say for you, everyone. I hope that you find these trainings in our Facebook group helpful. I keep this Facebook group and these trainings free for you because it really lights me up to be able to deliver this for you and to build a true community around it. So, okay. So someone has a question. She says that, let's see, any suggestions? All right. So she says, I created my products to offer more representation in the world of stationery. Yes. We have someone else in the PR starter pack as well who does greetings and gift cards to Black consumers. My goal is to see a modern Black stationery available for Black consumers. That is an amazing angle. It's very unique. It's very important to the world that we live in right now. We need this. So 100%, I would definitely pitch this. I mean, just look at where we are in the world right now. Like, we need more voices. We need different representation. So yes, I think this is awesome. This is awesome. And I cannot wait to see you grow your business. I'm sure it's going to do very well. Okay. So I have anti-racist reminders via mugs, bags, t-shirts. There are a lot of anti-Black incidents at schools and college. Can I add that to your pitch? Can you sound too negative? First of all, it's not too negative. It's just the world we live in. And that's the reason why you make your anti-racist reminders, right? Is because these things are happening. Is because we're in 2021, but we're still living like we're in the 1950s. So yes, it is happening and is not too negative. People need to know where you stand. And if you don't take a stance, you're not going to find your tribe. And guess what? Consumers now, they want to buy from people who share the same values as them. So if you're too soft on your stance or you want to appeal to everyone, then you appeal to no one. So those companies, if you look at the companies who do really well, they take a strong stance on their values, on their mission, and what they believe in. And so you are doing yourself a disservice if you have an entire product created around anti-racism, but yet you're not willing to go fully with that message, because I think that is really where the value is that you are bridging the gap between that fact that consumers want to shop their values and you are providing an avenue for them to do that. So 100%, I would definitely highlight all of the incidents and more statistics, what have you, talking about a recent news story. And of course, there's news stories every single day, every single hour about the racism in this country. That there's just so much out there, right? So I think definitely you can tie it to that as well. So I hope this was so helpful. I really look forward to seeing you on Monday. So please look out for your email. Make sure you downloaded your worksheet. And I cannot wait to actually go through the worksheet and give you feedback on your subject lines and your angles. Thank you so much for being here. I so value your time. I do not take any of this for granted. And it's always a thrill to do this with you. I will see you next week. And I will also see you inside of the Facebook group. Bye.